comparison between Bank Negara Malaysia and Security Commission Malaysia in Sukuk market. Let's look at the table below. BNM is Malaysian Central Bank, so its main focus is monetary policy and system stability. This means BNM makes sure the financial system is stable and there is enough money and liquidity in the economy. In comparison, the Securities Commission Malaysia focus on capital market regulation and development. SC ensure that the Sukuk market is well regulated, transparent and safe for investors. Next, in terms of the market that overseas, BNM operates mainly within the money market and the Islamic banking sector. It deals with short-term instruments and financial institutions, such as Islamic banks and takaful operators, ensuring they remain financially sound and Sharia compliant. On the other hand, SC oversees the primary and secondary Sukuk market, which includes the issuance of Sukuk and the trading of Sukuk in the capital market. SC regulates a wider range of participants, including issuers, investors, and intermediaries, such as fund managers and trustees within the Sukuk capital market. Moving on to their role, BNM plays a role in liquidity management. It uses short-term Sukuk instruments to help Islamic banks manage their funds and to support monetary policy. In contrast, SC is responsible for the regulation and approval of Sukuk issuance. Before Sukuk can be issued to the public, SC ensures that all rules, disclosure and Sharia requirements are met.
Okay, so while Nazira discussed the referees, which is the Bank Negara Malaysia and Security Commission Malaysia, now I will focus on the lead player, which is the Malaysian government. So my argument is that the government's role as an issuer was the single most important catalyst for growth, even more so than private sector initiative. So why? Let me explain further. Let's go. Okay, so now I will explain. Okay, think of the government as the architect. By issuing MGI regularly, they didn't just borrow money, but they created a benchmark. So, without a government yield curve, private corporation wouldn't even know how to price their Sukuk. So, the government provided the price tag for the entire market. Okay, so now I will explain the example. Okay, so basically, the government also took the first leap of faith. In 2002, Malaysia launched the world's first global sovereign Sukuk. More recently, in 2021, the government issued the first sovereign sustainability Sukuk. So these weren't just financial deals, they were signals to the world that Malaysia is the global hub for Islamic finance innovation. Now, let's look at why the government sector is often the primary driver of the Sukuk market compared to the private sector. There are two main reasons for this. First, it's about trust and risk. Sovereign Sukuk typically carry the highest rating credits, which is often AAA. This lower risk profile is essential for market primary. It actually gives the hesitant investors to the confidence they need to step into the Sharia compliant market for the first time. Second, it's about scale. The private sector rarely has the appetite or the capacity for massive national infrastructure like the highways and transport system you see here. Only the government can issue Sukuk at this massive scale, which ultimately creates a blueprint or benchmark that private corporations can follow later on.
Okay, good morning everyone. Today, I would like to talk about the evolution of Sukuk structures in Malaysia, focusing on Ijarah Sukuk, Musyarakah Sukuk and Hybrid Sukuk. Sukuk structures have evolved over time to balance Sharia compliance, investor returns and market practically. First, we have Ijarah Sukuk, which was introduced in early 2000. This was the earliest and most commonly used Sukuk structure. It is based on a leasing concept where tangible assets are leased to generate rental income. This structure is highly accepted by Sharia scholars due to clear asset ownership and stable cash flows. Next, we move to Musyarakah Sukuk, which became popular in the mid-2000s. This structure focuses on risk sharing through a partnership between investor and issuers. Musyarakah Sukuk reflects stronger Sharia principles but offer less predictable returns compared to Ijarah Sukuk. Lastly, we have Hybrid Sukuk, which is emerged from the late 2000s until today. Hybrid Sukuk combines two or more Sharia contracts such as Ijarah and Musyarakah in one structure. This allows greater flexibility and improved liquidity while maintaining Sharia compliance. Hybrid Sukuk is commonly used in modern Islamic capital market. In conclusion, Sukuk structures in Malaysia have evolved to balance investor expectations, markets demands and Sharia compliance. Here is the structures features for the Sukuk. Ijarah Sukuk is based on leasing of tangible asset. Meanwhile, Musyarakah Sukuk is a joint venture between investor and issuer. And lastly, hybrid Sukuk is mix of Ijarah, Musyarakah, Murabahah or Istisna. For Sharia compliance on Ijarah Sukuk is fully asset-backed. For Musyarakah Sukuk is strong risk sharing principle and hybrid Sukuk is each underlying contract must be Sharia compliant. Thank you.
Next, I will explain one specific innovative Sukuk issuance, which is Sustainable and Responsible Investor. We can call it as SRI. According to Securities Commission (SC), the Sukuk proceeds will be applied exclusively for funding of any activities or transaction relating to the eligible SRI projects. Next, the eligible sustainable projects. It contains green projects, social projects, project which combination of green and social projects and wakaf projects. In SRI also, they have key component of framework. Firstly, proceeds are utilized only for the purpose of funding any activities or transactions relating to eligible SRI projects. Secondly, establish internal processes for evaluation and selection of the eligible SRI projects. Third, proceeds will be credited into a designated account or otherwise trade in an appropriate manner. And lastly is report. Now, let's move on to Sharia compliance. The SRI Sukuk is fundamentally Sharia compliant due to several key features. Firstly, the instrument avoids interest by base returns. Secondly, the proceeds must be used exclusively for projects that comply with Sharia law. Thirdly, each issuance is reviewed and approved by a board of Islamic scholars. And lastly, the proceeds must be used exclusively for projects that comply with Sharia law. Next, the impact on broadening the appeal of Sukuk to investors. To Islamic investors, more Sharia compliant options. It will provide more avenues for Islamic investors to manage liquidity. Secondly, increased participation from global conventional investors helps deepen the secondary market. And lastly, adoption of international standards can boost investor confidence. Lastly, the impact to conventional investors. Firstly, it's offering valuable portfolio diversification benefits. Secondly, assets-backed security. And lastly, the inherent Sharia aligned with growing global trend of environmental, social and governance investing. This attract a wide base of socially conscious investors.
Malaysia is a global leader in the Sukuk market, but increasing competition from GCC countries and Indonesia means this position cannot be taken for granted. To remain competitive, Malaysia must adopt forward-looking strategies to future-proof its Sukuk market. This presentation focuses on two key strategies: regulatory and Sharia harmonization and the use of financial technologies. The first strategy is strengthening a regulatory and Sharia harmonization. One of the main challenges in the global Sukuk market is inconsistent Sharia interpretation across different jurisdictions, which increase legal uncertainty and the issuance costs. Malaysia can play a leadership role by working with international standard setting bodies such as AAOIFI and the Islamic Financial Service Board to promote globally accepted Sukuk structure and documentation. Greater harmonization will reduce market fragmentation, increase investor confidence, and make Malaysia a preferred hub for cross-border Sukuk issuance. The second strategy is leveraging financial technology, particularly blockchain and smart contract. Traditional Sukuk issuance is often complex and time-consuming. Blockchain can digitalize the Sukuk life cycle, improve transparency, and automate Sharia compliance through smart contract. In addition, a regulated digital Sukuk marketplace would enhance market accessibility and liquidity, helping Malaysia attract a wider pool of global investors and strengthen its innovation leadership. In conclusion, by enhancing regulatory and Sharia harmonization and embracing financial technologies, Malaysia can improve its efficiency, attract global investment, and sustain its leadership in the global Sukuk market.
makes it hard.